What is this weapon our own star could turn against us? Let's break down the science behind this silent kill shot that could already be on its way.
We're not talking about a temporary power outage here. We are talking about a scenario where entire continents could go dark for months, maybe even for years.
The sun is firing up, entering a period of peak activity in its natural cycle.
Okay, so let's get right into it. We're starting with a threat that isn't some distant asteroid or an alien invasion. No, this one's from the one thing we see every single day. The thing we absolutely trust to rise every morning. Our own sun. This really gets to the heart of it, doesn't it? It's a primal kind of fear. I mean, what happens when the most constant, reliable thing in your life suddenly becomes the biggest danger you've ever faced? We're talking about something that could fundamentally shift our reality.
And look, this is not some far-off hypothetical problem for our grandkids to solve. The window for this is now. The sun is firing up, entering a period of peak activity in its natural cycle. And every one of those massive sunspots that scientists are tracking, it's like another chamber being loaded, a clock ticking down to something we might just not be ready for.
To really get what we're up against, we have to look back. Because you know what? This has happened before. And that storm, from way back, over 160 years ago, it gives us a chilling blueprint for what a modern catastrophe could look like.
This comparison really gets to the core of the problem. In 1859, the last time a major storm hit, it was mostly just a curiosity. Yeah, it set a few telegraph offices on fire and people down in Cuba got to see a spectacular light show. But today, oh man, our entire civilization is built on this fragile electronic backbone. Our power, our communication, our finances, it's all just out there, totally exposed.
And do you want to talk about the scale of our exposure? This number, over 8,000, that's just one tiny piece of the puzzle. That's how many satellites we've got whizzing around up there. Each one is a critical link for GPS, for communications, for all the data that props up our global economy, and every single one of them is directly in the line of fire.
And let's be crystal clear, we're not talking about a temporary power outage here. We are talking about a scenario where entire continents could go dark for months, maybe even for years. Because when the power goes out, that means no pumps for water, no pumps for fuel. It's a full-scale regression of modern society.
So, how does this actually happen? What is this weapon our own star could turn against us? Let's break down the science behind this silent kill shot that could already be on its way.
This is the real danger. It all starts with a flash of light, a solar flare, right? But the follow-up punch, that's the coronal mass ejection. It's not just energy, it's a physical cloud of matter, a solar tsunami crossing 93 million miles of space, and it could be aimed right for us.
You know, this timeline is terrifying because of how fast it all goes down. The very first warning we get is our radios and GPS just going dead. That's the flare's radiation hitting us at the speed of light, but that's just the opening act. We then have less than a day, maybe only 15 hours, before the main event, the CME itself, slams into our planet.
And when that CME hits, it doesn't just cause one little failure, it triggers a cascade. Our planet's magnetic shield, our only real defense, it buckles. And when it does, it creates these massive, uncontrolled electrical currents right in our power lines on the ground. All those long wires start acting like giant antennas, soaking up energy they were never, ever built to handle. They basically become fuses, blowing out irreplaceable transformers and substations in a domino effect that could cripple the grid on a hemispheric scale.
And hey, if you're thinking this all sounds like something out of a science fiction movie, well, it's not. Based on historical events and the sun's current, very active cycle, the probability is, as the experts like to put it, uncomfortably non-zero. We've had some seriously close calls, even in just the last decade.
Now, this is where the story gets even bigger. What if this isn't just a threat to us? What if it's a fundamental test for any intelligent life anywhere in the universe?
Just think about the silence out there, you know? We scan the stars for signals with SETI, and what do we hear? Nothing. This hypothesis asks a really chilling question. What if there's a reason for all that silence? This theory reframes the whole solar storm idea as something way more profound, a potential great filter. The idea is that maybe this isn't a unique threat to us, but a predictable cosmic test. A civilization becomes intelligent, it develops technology, it wires its entire planet into a single electronic nervous system, and then its own star, not out of malice, but just physics, hits the reset button.
And that right there, that's the ultimate cosmic irony. The very technology that marks our intelligence, our ability to build this truly global society, might be the precise vulnerability that makes us so fragile in the face of a perfectly normal, predictable, star-sized event.
So, what does this all mean for us? Right here, right now. For this fragile moment we find ourselves in, staring down the barrel of our star's most active period in years.
This timeline lays it all out. We are not talking about the distant future. We are in the window of heightened risk right now. According to the solar physicists, the peak danger zone, well, it's coming up fast. And this is the reason why. It's called the solar maximum. It's the most violent phase of the sun's natural 11-year cycle, a period when the chances of a massive, Earth-directed eruption go up dramatically.
And this brings us to the really sobering reality of it all. Despite all the warnings from history and from science, our critical infrastructure is just not ready. Our power grids aren't hardened, our global supply chains are incredibly fragile. We are, by and large, living on a planet that is utterly unprepared for an event of this magnitude. And that leaves us with this final, really haunting question. We can see it coming. We understand the physics. We know the risk. So does that knowledge actually empower us to survive? Or does it just mean we're uniquely aware of our own fragility as we keep building monuments to it, just waiting for the sky to fall?